Hi, and welcome to the latest webinar from MEM. It's Mark Thurkel here. Today we're going to be looking at IoT, and we've got a great expert with us from Edin in Spain, David, who's going to be taking us through some of the great ways you can actually make some great improvements to your production and so on. I won't go into the details of that. I'm not the expert, but I'm going to pass across to David, and he will get started taking us through his presentation. Thanks, David.
Thanks, Mark. Good morning to everyone. Now I'm showing my screen. Then we're starting. So we're talking today about the Edin digital platform for transformation. It's an open platform, which means that whoever can develop on it, it's fully documented, it's fully standard. That's one of the key features of this platform. Fully standard, we mean that all customers, all users are using the same product. And in that way, it grows faster. We have users around the globe and partners around the globe also. And it's powerful, it's robust, it's open, as I mentioned, available in the cloud, on-premise, and you can have it from full service from our partners to do it yourself. It's one of the, we would say, the only platform for digital transformation with the do-it-yourself possibility. We have real clients which are doing the whole installation, deployment, and customization. They are doing that by themselves alone. So let's start. One of the key messages, most important, is that all processes lose money. We're continuously losing money. That's bad news. That happens in every company, in every business, in every sector, for every process, every person, every machine. And that money that is being lost is the most important money that we have, because it's the money that we have in our bank account. It's the current, the actual, the real money. So it's not, here we're not talking about the money that we will get if we do whatever in the future. We're talking about money that we are wasting now. And the problem, the real problem, is that we do not see that in real time. So we don't know that. And that makes a company to be very competitive and another company to not be competitive. That's the bad news. What's the good news? The good news is that all the money that we lose because of inefficiencies or not being productive enough, all that money that is being wasted is only lost because of four main reasons, four main causes. As you can see on the screen, the first one is availability, which means that we are not working all the time, unfortunately in terms of profits, long-term profits. So we're not working all the time. Machines and people is not working all the time. Sometimes we have to stop. Sometimes we have failures, things like that. Then the second reason is velocity or speed, which means that our results do not come as fast as they could. So we delay, we have delays. The third reason is quality. So some of our results are not good. Our machinery is not producing right at the first time. It's producing sometimes things that need to be reworked. Or if we're talking about services, it's the same thing. Sometimes we do not do the things right, and then we have to repeat them. So that's quality problems. And the fourth cause is excessive consumption. So sometimes we're consuming more energy, or we're putting two people where there should be only one, things like that. So why is this good news? Because all the money that we lose, everything which separates us from being perfectly efficient or completely efficient and totally productive, everything which separates us from that is going to be in any of these four causes. So we need to turn these four ratios into, let's say, KPIs, key point indicators. So we need we need to see percentages of these 4 causes so that we know that our main problems are coming from availability. If we have, for example, imagine 60% availability, that means that we could be producing, we have produced only 60, we have been working only 60% of the time instead of 100%. And the same with the other causes. And then also we can combine that into a general number, which is called total efficiency, which tells me how efficient am I, and this can be turned into money pretty easily. We have tools to do that, and so that we can monitor how efficient every process is, and we can know how much money that is costing in real time. So imagine if you could see in real time where your losses are and what are the reasons, because there's another level of detail after these main 4 causes. Then we can provide the Pareto, the root causes, 10, whatever the causes, whatever the number of the causes are behind each of these 4 reasons, we can provide that Pareto. So this idea that I'm explaining is happening everywhere, also in offices. So these people is working here, as you can see in this picture, they're also losing money. We have to say that it's impossible not to lose some money. I mean, in the long term or in the midterm, we're not perfect, and things are not perfect in this universe. So finally, there's always kind of a loss or a little loss. The thing is that we have to monitor that. On my back, in another room, you might see it. There's a screen. We have a screen, so we see in real time how things are going. We put some objectives and we monitor that. But the problem is not just inefficiencies and not being productive. It's also, the problem is also the movement of people, the problems associated with working from home. That is also destroying the environment, as you know. And after the pandemic, people really is not very ready for working from home. As you can see in the slide, 40% of supervisors do not want working from home, and that's a study from a university, Curtin University in Australia. But this happens even with high rates in many countries. But are we more productive in the office? That's a big question also. And if we work from home, are we also more productive? So we are fighting against a principle which is called the principle of least effort, and that's affecting every living being, and we're also living beings, so that's affecting us. So we need technology to monitor results and to avoid these situations, although these situations could be fine, perfectly fine, as long as we have achieved our results. And that's something that is also misunderstood in the market. The market is typically monitoring time instead of results, and companies do not sell time. They mainly sell results. So what's the current situation? The current situation is that companies are using Excel sheets or some kind of tools which only monitor time. And so they're only covering one of the 4 reasons of money being wasted and the environment being harmed. They are only monitoring one, which is availability, and that's just a little percentage of our of the inefficiencies of the work. So companies are using Excel sheets or paper, and that's creating lots of problems, as you can see in the slides. Like demotivation, wrong decisions. So digital transformation can provide productivity and efficiency, take decisions in less time, because you see the information, you have the information in real time. It brings you, therefore, profitability, reduced cost and losses, availability, speed, quality, and consumption. The 4. Let me insist that there are only 4 types of losses. So every loss that we have, every inefficiency is going to be in these 4 types of losses, which, by the way, I advance, Edin covers the 4. So we need a tool which monitors everything from machines to persons. Every process can be monitored because all processes in their essence, in their mathematics, are the same. So we need a tool to monitor that, and that will increase our productivity, our efficiency from machines to people, as I said. And it will also increase visibility, which is very important in terms of working from home. Companies which have gone to a mixed scenario with some working from home have experienced the feeling that the team is now not as connected as it was when they are in the office. So we also need to cover that need. And when you have a tool for digital transformation, then you can add tools, you can add new features so that you can advance in things like big data or machine learning. That comes later, as we will see later also. So if we compare Edin with other competitors, what you find is that if you're going to transform digitally a factory, for example, then you are talking about maybe 400K per plant, per factory, which is a pretty decent investment, or 300K. These are real numbers. Comparing Edin with other very well-known competitors, which brands you will probably know. Edin is much more affordable because it's a standard, because it's fully documented, because there's plenty of people who knows and who can configure it, customize it, so it's more open. There's an API, so you can develop. If there's a need which is not covered by the platform, then you can develop. We've been highlighted in different guides. There is that on the footnote. You can see independent guides which are making these kind of comparisons. And when it comes to work management in general, if we're talking about controlling the work of an office, for example, then the market is divided in between project management tools or activity tracking. If you analyze these tools in the market, you discover that they mainly cover availability. So they are mainly monitoring time. They're not monitoring results, the advance of results, the delay on them. They are not monitoring the quality. I guess you can imagine how expensive the not quality or the non-quality is, because all the time that you dedicated to produce a service or a good was totally wasted. You have to, whether partially or completely, repeat it, or sometimes is completely discarded even. So there's not even an option for repeating. So typically quality is out of the analysis of the tools in the market today, without exception, except from Edin. So as I was saying, the market is focused on time, on availability, and that's only 50% in the best case for them, 50% of the equation. So the market is leaving out or not considering 60, 70, 80% of the losses because of inefficiencies or not being productive. So we're talking about something which should be a very prioritary or very, let's say, very important investment, because it brings direct benefits. Every percentage point that you improve from availability or on quality, it can be easily calculated. Even the system could tell you in terms of money. But if you don't have the cost module, or you didn't configure the cost module, then you can easily calculate how much money that is. And typically the return of investment is typically around months, so less than a year. And it's because also the second reason here in the slide is because it's feasible. So this happens, I wouldn't say 100% of the times, because that cannot be said by anyone, but the great majority of the times. And we have a methodology and we have partners which are expert, and for us, every case, every client must be a success. So here we talk about going from 5 to 40%, because those are real numbers measured by us. And as I said, the great majority of the cases never go below 5, which is producing, for example, 5% more with your same resources, or reducing 5% your costs, producing the same. That would be the minimum. And the case we're talking about today here, it's a real case which increased by 50% their production capacity, with improvements in many other numbers, like the value of the company, things like that. I will talk about that later. So at this point of the webinar, some people could be already wondering, how can this be possible? How can you provide real-time information which helps to motivate, to know where my losses are, and so that I can react in real time and reduce that money that is being wasted quickly? So that's done. I'm opening now a demo, a live demo. I think I can put this little. That's done by closing the loop so that we show to people in real time performance. So this dashboard that you see, just by installing the system, there are templates that come, and you just open a browser from wherever you are, and you can see these widgets which show you how was the previous shift or the previous day. This is fully configurable. You can change the size, you can change the widget, you can change the widget that you want to see, and there are 41 different widgets that you can combine. You can see trends to see if you are really improving or not. You can create more widgets, or sorry, more dashboards, which I later populate with widgets. And I can send the link, this link, to someone, and if that person has a user and password, then he can access this info. And this info is interactive. So for example, I have been 85% efficient, completely efficient in this period. This can be a group of processes. This could be my whole company, or can be just a machine, or can be a group of persons. So I talk about processes because process is a definition that users can change according to their needs, to how they see their company. But what I wanted to show you is that this is interactive. So I had a day here which was not good. We had 68% efficiency in that day. And then if I click on the widget, it opens. And then I can click on the rate area, which, by the way, I know it's failure. So I was stopped. They were stopped by some reasons. And if I click on the rate area again, I have opened already 3 tabs here, so I can come back whenever I want. And if I open this third tab, then I can see that the problem in this is a factory. In this case, it was because adjustment by lack of refrigerant. And then I can put this into bars graphic, for example, and I can see that my main problem that day was this specific cost. How is this data gathered? This data is whether automatically read by the system if my machinery or my devices are open to standards, or if someone connected that system to the platform, then that data comes automatically. But sometimes some devices cannot be monitored, or some processes are so complex that it's not worth it, the cost of monitoring it automatically. So sometimes people provide this information, and that combination is very good. It has proven to be very good, because the brain of the people know what's going on in businesses typically, or they find out in real time, because the system will force them to indicate what's going on, what's happening. I'm not gonna, because this is a brief webinar, I'm not gonna enter into too much detail, but there is a software, a terminal software that goes in your mobile phone or in your laptop, and it will blink. It will start blinking because it wants you to indicate what's going on. Why are you not giving results, or why is the quality not good enough, and things like that. So the combination of people informing and the system monitoring the main thing, which is the results. Results are the main thing. It's what generates all the calculation. That combination is very good because, as I said, people have a brain which provides value. And you might think some people could not say the truth or things like that. That's not happening in real cases because it's a real-time system. So if someone indicates something which is not the truth or it's not correct, what happens is that everyone from everywhere is seeing that information. So they receive phone calls, or in our experience, and we have many stories about this, supervisors are calling or are visiting, or are, it's like if we were continuously monitored. So finally, our experience and the experience on the market is that users do not work on trying to say something different to what the reality is. So finally, people understands how this goes, and they just say what's going on the process, and therefore you have very good information. So I just wanted to give you, there are many more widgets and reports, and you can see different things, but this webinar is not a technical one, so I'm not gonna get into much detail. For example, the last version of the Edin platform comes with recommendations coming from big data and machine learning, so that the system is recommending the user. Here you can see the terminal that I mentioned with that button blinking in yellow, indicating what you should do next. And also on the web, you have these recommendations. As I said, I'm not gonna get into much detail. If someone wants higher detail, please get in contact with the organizers or with Edin directly, and we can provide that, that more detail. Here you can see the main screen of the terminal. One of the key features of the Edin platform is simplicity, being easy. That's very important. If you don't have easy technology, easy to use technology, what happens is what is known as the plane paradox. The plane paradox is because commercial planes have more and more automation, but pilots need more and more training. And that's a paradox. It shouldn't be that way. So for a technology, being easy for a technology is very important for the success. And in Edin, we knew this since the beginning, since almost 20 years now. And we've been working very hard to remove questions, to remove buttons. So things have to be very big, colors have to be very clear, and that's the dashboard that you're seeing. Also, when you are monitoring people. So if we're monitoring people, this is for an office, then we know who's working, who's not working. You can see the green color or white color if the person didn't identify what's going on, how much time they are in that state. We know if there are alerts. This red button here, I hope you can see my mouse pointer, here indicates that this guy has tasks which are delayed, or this guy should indicate what's going on with his time if there was a delay in results, like here. So we're monitoring these 4 types of losses, and we're showing these alerts in real time. So as I mentioned, the Edin platform is standard, it's profitable, fast to implement. That surprises many newcomers to this technology, how fast it is implemented. It is typically for a production line in a factory, we're using 1 week. So it's very fast, and sometimes even for more lines, it's still 1 week if they are similar. So it's robust, and it's a standard to integrate with other systems. In companies, there are typically already other systems, so you want to have them integrated. And it's open, as I mentioned in the beginning, because it has an API for development. It comes with different modules, which are increasing. You can choose and say, I want to get the detail into quality because I have used the main module, which is production control, as you see on the top left. And now I know which my problems are. Therefore, I'm going to use these other modules that I need. There are even add-ons, which are little modules created by the community or other clients, as this already mentioned, the API. And then the potential is huge because our users create millions and millions of records of data, which can, which even us, although we provide a very good tool that I already showed about a tool for dashboards and to exploit the information, although that the potential of further exploitation is huge. Therefore, we have to be open, and the platform is open. We have some videos of connecting to the cloud, downloading the data, and using external tools for this. You can have digital twins also with our partners, because you can connect. As I mentioned, there are connectors, standard connectors following ISA standards, which is very important. So to sum up, Edin is an open platform. It's a base for industry, work management, or MES projects. It comes with monitoring, industrial Internet of Things, and it helps you to optimize, as I mentioned in the beginning. And very important, it's based on collaboration with partners around the world. So if you have a company which is serving you already with IT, for example, then you can talk to them and say them, please become a partner of Edin so that I have you providing me the service. I know you from years. I like this product. Let's have that combination. So the company has already 17 years. We have been pretty innovative in these years. If someone wants this detail, they can go to the webpage. In the About section, they will find the innovations. These are plants around the world using, and these are some brands owning these plants around the world, current clients using nonstop the platform. So finally, the big question is, with all that we have already seen, how can you increase by 50% production capacity and productivity in 18 months? Is that possible? Is that real? Yes, it is real. Yes, it is possible. We're talking about a recent case which happened in the UK, by the way. And how can you do that? So you need technology like Edin, that's critical. And then you need the right partner. So you need good service for the installation and the deployment and the customization and change management. You probably know all this. You need a team which is expert on this. And then in our experience, more and more training and involving people is very important, because as we know until now from our experience, technology is 50% of the solution. Then you need to manage people, which is the other 50%. So change management is very important, and that will bring you long-term profitability. We have a proven methodology which we have developed in all these years and improved. And that methodology is also shared with our partners. Everything is shared in Edin because Edin is an open platform, and there is an Edin Academy where our partners and our users can access this methodology and all the documents. And the methodology is based first on connecting, extracting the data, and second, visualizing that data, aggregating it as you want. Aggregation is very important, because if you have 60 points being monitored, 60 processes or 60 machines, you don't want to see 60 graphics, because in one you are improving, in another you're not improving. So you really don't know if your team is performing better, if your company, if you are performing better. So you need to be able to aggregate easily. In Edin, we have a concept called area, which is completely virtual. So you can create an area, aggregate today in some way, tomorrow in another way, because you found out that you needed another view. and aggregation is critical. So the important point on this methodology is that very quickly, in 1 week, you are already visualizing information in dashboards. You can put those dashboards in presentation mode in a 50-inch screen as we have here in the office, or you can see it from your mobile phone from everywhere. So having the information in real time so fast, the dashboard so fast is critical. And then on the third phase, you choose what tools you think you need or you know you need in order to improve the inefficiencies, the KPIs that you already have from stage 2. And then on the last phase, you can go to more complex projects, which are big data, artificial intelligence. The Edin platform comes already with tools for this, but you can use also your own tools. As I mentioned before, we have some videos extracting data from the cloud, from the Edin platform, and doing analysis with different tools. So it's important, we recommend, although there can be some exceptions in case you have an audit or you have certain need and you want to go to phase 3, for example, that's fine. But in general, we recommend to follow these 4 steps, and they can be very fast. So maybe in 1 or 2 months, you are already on phase 4, and every part of your company might be in a different speed in a different phase. So finally, each customer for Edin is different, and all have to succeed. Support is also very important; it's critical, and you can always in Edin try and then pay. That's very important, not the other way. So we recommend to try, because until trying, you really don't see what we have been talking in this webinar. Trying is what changes the perspective of how you see this, and that's it. I am completely willing to receive questions and ready for them, and also ready to talk after this webinar with whoever might be interested. So thank you, and please go ahead with the questions.
Yeah, hi David. I've got a couple of questions here for you. The first I have is really just looking at the webinar. It was a really interesting presentation, by the way.
Thank you.
Could you just summarize what the differences are between the Edin platform and some of the others that obviously I'm aware of on the marketplace?
Okay. One of the main differences is that it's easy to use, very easy. That's something that users say. So it's very easy to use. So in a very short time, you're beginning to receive benefits from it. The other important difference is that it's complete, pretty complete. It covers a big percentage of the needs of users in terms of digital transformation of the whole operations. I'm talking about industries, manufacturing sites, or offices. And the other reason is that it's open. So it's fully documented. Everyone can do it with the right training, of course. And I think those would be so that turns into speed of use, speed of installation. So it's installed very fast, and it is used easily. I hope I answered.
Yeah, that makes a bit of sense. Thank you. I mean, the technology aspect was very interesting for me to look at, personally, because I come from a management development background, and as I think I've said to you before we did this presentation, I'm fascinated by the fact that software eliminates a lot of the things I was trained in many years ago. I'm just concerned about the associated services, and do you, I guess, need to get extra software or new technology or something like that to install the platform?
So your question is if you need any extra software apart from the Edin platform?
Yeah.
Okay. If you are monitoring your office, for example, as it is fully, I mean, when I'm talking about an office, I mean, if you do not want to connect to other devices or other systems, then you just, with just the software, you can use it. That's all. So if you are doing these kind of things, then you don't need anything else, just Edin. If you want to connect to your own devices, your own software, your ERP, your SAP, your Navision systems in general, then it depends. Edin comes with connectors, standard connectors, even standard hardware to monitor your machinery or different devices, as I mentioned. But sometimes some devices need their own connector or their own thing, let's say. So in general, if I see in the projects done in these years, I would say in general you don't need anything else. Edin comes with its own database, comes with the tool that I showed to exploit the information. So in general you don't need anything else, but you could need, because smart factories, Industry 4.0, work management, MES, these are big disciplines, and eventually you might need some kind of hardware or some kind of device, something specific. But sorry, to summarize this, to repeat, in general, you don't need anything else.
Okay, no, fair enough. Okay, and yeah, there was another question I've got here. And by the way, congratulations on the webinar. And in the success case that you mentioned, which was here in the UK, obviously, I guess you can't really provide any names or contacts. Is there any way that we could perhaps have that information, or any way to get anything further about that, or contact them or something?
Okay, with some clients, we have signed agreements in order to share their reference, their contact, or even visit them, so that some potential users can talk with them and exchange ideas or uses, case uses, things like that. But just only with some with some cases. So I propose that people interested might contact us, and then we can provide those details, especially for the clients who have signed this open agreement that I mentioned.
Okay, that's good. Finally, my last question, how is Edin preparing for the short and long-term future of the digital transformation of operations?
Very good question. So, thanks for it. Edin, there are some things that we cannot talk about in this webinar because that's our competitive advantage. What we can say is that ubiquity is becoming more and more important, so that our users can access their information and use the platform from everywhere, from every platform, from every device. So we are investing on that, on ubiquity. And the other big area where we are investing also is everything which relates with big data and machine learning, because we see more and more the potential of using these advanced technologies to help our users and to reduce or to increase the money available for our users by being more efficient and more productive, as we mentioned in this webinar.
Okay.
I hope I could answer that question.
No, I get that. That's really really useful, Edin. I'd like to thank you for your time today, and I'd like to thank everyone who attended. And yeah, we'll speak again. And thank you very much, everybody. And bye-bye.
Thanks to you, Mark, and to MEM.